My child. There is a reason your spirit feels different lately. You have been sensing a shift you cannot explain. Certain things no longer satisfy you the way they once did. Certain people no longer feel aligned with your heart. And deep inside, you know something is changing. That feeling is not confusion. It is preparation. Because I am leading you into a new season of your life. For too long, you carried burdens that were never meant to stay on your shoulders. You kept smiling while silently fighting battles nobody knew about. You kept showing strength while your heart was exhausted. But I saw every hidden tear. I heard every silent prayer. And I never left your side. Even during the moments when you thought heaven was quiet. I was still working behind the scenes for you. My child, listen carefully. The delay was not punishment. The waiting was preparation. I needed to strengthen your spirit before releasing what you prayed for. Because the blessing coming into your life requires a stronger version of you. That is why some doors closed. That is why some relationships ended. That is why some plans fell apart unexpectedly. I was protecting your future. You were crying over things I was saving you from. And now, little by little, you are beginning to understand. The pain changed you. The waiting changed you. The loneliness changed you. But it did not destroy you. It prepared you. So stop believing the lie that your best days are over. They are not over. In fact, some of your greatest moments are still ahead of you. There are blessings moving toward your life right now that you cannot yet see. Opportunities. Healing. Restoration. Peace. And when they arrive, you will realize why everything had to happen the way it did. So tonight, stop doubting yourself. Stop replaying old failures in your mind. Stop letting fear speak louder than faith. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. And you are not too late. I am still writing your story. And the next chapter will carry a kind of joy you thought you would never feel again. And when that new chapter begins, my child, do not enter it carrying the same fear that once held you back. Too many times, you expected disappointment before life even had the chance to surprise you. Too many times, you talked yourself out of hope because of what happened in your past. But I am telling you now. Your future will not look like your old pain. The heartbreak you survived was not the ending of your story. The betrayal was not the ending. The rejection was not the ending. The nights you cried yourself to sleep were not the ending. I was still writing beyond those moments. You only saw the storm. But I saw the sunrise that was waiting after it. That is why you must stop measuring your future by your current feelings. Feelings change. Seasons change. Situations change. And the darkness surrounding you right now will change too. Do not let temporary pain convince you that permanent joy is impossible. Because joy is still coming. Peace is still coming. And the life you prayed for is still being formed piece by piece. My child, there were moments where you nearly gave up completely. Moments where exhaustion reached your soul. Moments where you smiled in front of others while silently breaking inside. But even then, I held you together. Even then, I protected your mind from collapsing under pressure. Even then, I sent strength you did not even realize was coming from me. That is why you survived seasons that should have destroyed you. Grace carried you. Not luck. Not coincidence. Grace. There were unseen battles happening around your life. Battles over your purpose. Battles over your future. battles over your peace. And though you did not always understand what was happening, heaven never stopped fighting for you. So stop saying you are weak. Stop saying you are failing. You have survived things that would have broken many people. And despite everything, you are still here. Still breathing. Still trying. Still praying. Still hoping. That alone is proof that your story is not over. My child, I know there are questions still living inside your heart. Questions about timing. Questions about love. Questions about why certain prayers have not yet been answered. But trust me when I say this. I am not ignoring you. Some things are delayed because I am arranging them correctly. You see one piece. I see the entire picture. You see today. I see your future years from now. And if I removed every obstacle immediately, you would walk into blessings before you were emotionally ready to keep them. So I slow certain things down for your protection. Because I care more about your peace than your impatience. One day you will look back and realize the waiting saved you from many wrong paths. You will understand why certain doors never opened. Why certain people disappeared. Why certain opportunities fell apart unexpectedly. It was not abandonment. It was guidance. My child, stop chasing what I told you to release. Some things ended because they could not go where I am taking you. Do not reopen doors that heaven closed. Do not beg for connections that drained your spirit. Do not return to places where your soul constantly felt heavy. You were created for more than survival. You were created for peace. For purpose. For spiritual growth. And for a future filled with meaning. That is why I am teaching you to let go. Because empty hands can finally receive new blessings. I know the process feels uncomfortable. Growth always does. Transformation always does. But you are changing into someone stronger than you were before. Wiser than before. More spiritually aware than before. And though the process has been painful, it is shaping you beautifully. So keep moving forward. Even slowly. Even while healing. Even while uncertain. Do not stop now. You are closer than you realize. Closer to the breakthrough. Closer to the healing. Closer to the answered prayer. Closer to the peace you have begged heaven for during so many sleepless nights. And when it finally arrives, you will not even recognize the version of yourself that once thought about giving up. Because the person standing in your future is stronger than the person crying today. The person waiting ahead of you carries wisdom your current pain is building right now. So trust the process, my child. Trust my timing. Trust the path I am preparing for you even when you cannot fully see it yet. Because what is coming into your life will make sense of everything you survived. And when that understanding finally reaches your heart, you will stop mourning certain chapters of your life. Not because they did not hurt. But because you will finally realize those chapters were shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. Pain has a way of changing people. Some become bitter. Some become cold. Some stop believing in love, peace, or hope completely. But look at you. After everything life has done to you, you still want healing. You still want peace. You still search for God. You still hope for better days. That means darkness did not win. The light inside you survived. And that light is more powerful than you realize. There is a reason the enemy attacks your mind so heavily. A reason fear keeps trying to speak over your future. A reason discouragement follows you during quiet moments. Because your purpose scares darkness. The healed version of you is dangerous to the lies that once controlled your life. The peaceful version of you will inspire people. The spiritually awakened version of you will break generational pain. The stronger version of you will help others survive their storms too. That is why the battle became so intense. But hear this clearly. The attack did not come because you are weak. It came because there is something valuable inside you. Something heaven placed within your soul long before this season began. And no matter how many storms came against your life, that purpose still remains. Untouched. Protected. Alive. So stop speaking over yourself as if you are defeated. You are wounded sometimes, yes. Tired sometimes, yes. But defeated? No. Defeated people stop trying completely. Yet you are still here listening. Still praying. Still searching for meaning. Still believing there has to be more ahead of you. And there is. Far more than you can currently imagine. My child, some blessings are approaching your life quietly right now. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Healing is approaching quietly. Clarity is approaching quietly. Peace is approaching quietly. The right people are approaching quietly. And opportunities are approaching quietly too. Do not mistake silence for inactivity. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean heaven stopped working. Seeds grow silently underground before anyone sees fruit above the surface. And your life is in that hidden growing season now. A season where roots are becoming stronger. Where faith is becoming deeper. Where wisdom is being developed. Because when your blessings finally appear publicly, they will need strong roots underneath them. Without roots, even beautiful trees fall during storms. So God is strengthening your roots now. Strengthening your mind. Strengthening your spirit. Strengthening your discernment. That is why some days feel uncomfortable. Because growth stretches people. Healing stretches people. Transformation stretches people. But the stretching is creating capacity for greater things ahead. One day you will realize you outgrew the version of yourself that once settled for less. Less peace. Less love. Less respect. Less purpose. You are no longer willing to abandon your soul just to keep temporary people happy. That is growth. And heaven celebrates that growth deeply. Because many people spend their entire lives ignoring their soul. Ignoring their healing. Ignoring God's voice. But you kept searching. Even while hurting. Even while confused. Even while exhausted. And God honors hearts that continue seeking Him through pain. So do not think your prayers are wasted. Do not think your tears are invisible. Everything you carried to heaven mattered. Every single thing. The nights where words would not even come out properly. God still understood your heart. The moments where all you could do was cry quietly. He still stayed beside you. That is love. A love deeper than human understanding. A love that does not disappear when you fail. A love that does not abandon you during weakness. A love that keeps reaching for you even during your darkest moments. And that love is carrying you forward now. Step by step. Season by season. Healing by healing. You do not need to have every answer tonight. You do not need to understand the entire future immediately. You simply need to keep walking with faith. One step. One prayer. One day at a time. Because eventually, The same God who carried you through survival seasons will also lead you into peaceful seasons. The same God who comforted you during heartbreak will also restore joy back into your life. And the same God who protected you through darkness will also guide you into light brighter than anything you lost before. So hold on a little longer. Breathe a little deeper. Trust a little stronger. Because your breakthrough is no longer a distant dream. It is slowly becoming reality. And as your breakthrough begins getting closer, you may notice something unexpected happening inside you. The things that once controlled your emotions will slowly begin losing power. The opinions of people will not affect you the same way anymore. The fear that once kept you awake at night will begin fading little by little. And the pain you thought would stay forever will no longer feel as heavy as before. That is healing. Real healing. Not pretending everything is perfect. Not forcing fake smiles. But genuinely becoming free from the chains that once controlled your spirit. And freedom changes a person deeply. Because once your soul experiences peace again, you stop settling for chaos. You stop entertaining confusion. You stop begging for love from people who only bring emotional exhaustion. You begin protecting your heart differently. Speaking differently. Thinking differently. Living differently. That transformation is already starting inside you now. Even if nobody else notices it yet. Heaven notices it. God notices every quiet step you take toward healing. Every time you choose peace over anger. Every time you choose prayer over panic. Every time you choose faith over fear. Those moments matter more than you realize. Because small decisions slowly shape entire futures. And your future is being shaped right now. My child, there are blessings attached to your obedience in this season. Not temporary blessings. Not shallow happiness. But deep, lasting peace. The kind of peace money cannot buy. The kind of peace people cannot fake. The kind of peace that only comes from knowing God carried you through darkness and never abandoned you. That peace is becoming part of your testimony. One day people will meet you and feel calm around your spirit. Not because your life was easy, but because God healed you through difficult seasons. Your scars will carry wisdom. Your survival will carry authority. And your story will carry hope for people who feel broken now. Never think your pain was meaningless. Nothing surrendered to God becomes wasted. Nothing. Not the heartbreak. Not the tears. Not the waiting. Not the lonely nights. Heaven can turn every painful chapter into purpose. That is what redemption looks like. And redemption is already happening inside your life. Slowly. Quietly. Powerfully. There are still moments ahead that will surprise you. Moments where doors suddenly open. Moments where peace enters your heart unexpectedly. Moments where prayers you almost gave up on finally receive answers. And when those moments arrive, you will realize God was listening the entire time. Even during silence. Even during delay. Even during the seasons where nothing seemed to change. God was still moving. Still arranging. Still protecting. Still preparing. That is why you must never judge your future by your current struggle. Storms create fear because they make people believe the darkness will last forever. But storms always pass. Always. And this season will pass too. The heaviness will not stay forever. The confusion will not stay forever. The loneliness will not stay forever. A new season is already approaching your life. A season where your mind feels lighter. Where your heart feels safer. Where your spirit finally rests again. You prayed for that season more times than you realize. And heaven heard every prayer. So tonight, stop carrying tomorrow's worries inside your chest. Stop punishing yourself for mistakes God already forgave. Stop replaying painful memories every single day. The past is no longer your home. You survived it. Learned from it. Grew through it. But you are not meant to live there forever. Your future still needs you. Your purpose still needs you. And there are beautiful moments ahead that require a healed version of you to experience them fully. So continue healing. Continue growing. Continue trusting God even when emotions feel uncertain. Because the same God who protected you in hidden seasons is preparing to bless you in visible seasons too. And when those blessings finally arrive, they will not just change your circumstances. They will reveal how faithful God was all along. And when that faithfulness becomes clear to you, your entire perspective on life will begin to change. You will stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What was God preparing me for?" Because suddenly you will understand that every painful season carried a lesson. Every delay carried protection. Every heartbreak carried wisdom. And every storm carried hidden growth. You will realize that the nights you spent crying were also nights God was rebuilding your spirit quietly. Strengthening parts of you that nobody else could see. That is why you cannot judge yourself by your weakest moments. Weak moments do not define your identity. Everyone falls emotionally sometimes. Everyone feels tired sometimes. Even strong people break down in private. But breaking down does not mean you are broken forever. It means you are human. And God knows how to restore human hearts. He specializes in restoration. In healing damaged souls. In bringing light back into dark places. In creating peace where fear once lived. That is what He is doing inside you now. Even if the process feels slow. Healing is rarely instant. Sometimes it happens little by little. Through prayers. Through waiting. Through quiet conversations with God at night. Through moments where you almost quit. But somehow found strength to continue. And one day, you suddenly realize you are no longer the same person who started this journey. The pain no longer controls you. The fear no longer rules you. The sadness no longer defines you. Because healing changed you. My child, there are people connected to your future who will thank God you did not give up during this season. People you have not met yet. People who will receive peace from your testimony. People who will feel hope after hearing your story. Never underestimate how powerfully God can use healed pain. The enemy wanted your suffering to silence you. But God is turning it into strength. Turning it into wisdom. Turning it into purpose. That is why your survival matters so much. You survived for a reason. Not just to exist. But to become. To become stronger. Kinder. Wiser. More spiritually aware. More compassionate toward others who are hurting. Pain often creates depth inside people. And your soul carries a depth now. That could only come through survival. That depth will one day become a blessing to others. So stop hating every part of your journey. Yes, some chapters hurt deeply. But some of those same chapters also taught you how to pray sincerely, how to depend on God, how to recognize fake love, how to value peace, how to protect your spirit. Those lessons are precious. They are shaping the person you are becoming. And the person you are becoming is far stronger than the person you used to be. You may still feel uncertain sometimes. That is normal. Growth does not remove every fear instantly. But even while fear exists, faith can still move forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is continuing despite fear. And you have shown courage many times already. More times than you give yourself credit for. You kept going when your heart felt exhausted. You kept believing when life felt confusing. You kept praying even when heaven felt silent. That matters deeply. Because faith during difficult seasons is incredibly powerful. It creates roots that cannot easily be shaken later. And those roots are growing inside you now. Strong roots. Deep roots. Roots that will support the blessings coming into your future. So do not rush the process. Do not compare your timeline to others. Some people bloom quickly. Others bloom deeply. And deep growth takes time. God is not rushing your transformation. He is building something lasting inside you. Something real. Something strong enough to survive future storms without collapsing. One day you will thank God for slowing certain things down. Because rushed blessings often create fragile lives. But prepared hearts create stable futures. And stability is part of your next season. No more constant emotional chaos. No more living in survival mode forever. No more carrying every burden alone. A peaceful season is approaching. A season where your soul can finally breathe again. A season where you stop questioning your worth every day. A season where healing becomes visible. And when that season fully arrives, you will realize God was far closer during your darkest moments than you ever understood before. He never abandoned you. Not once. He was carrying you all along. And now, as this message comes to an end, let your heart hold on to this truth tonight. You are deeply loved by God. Not because you are perfect. Not because you never failed. Not because you always stayed strong. But because you are His. And nothing can change that. Not your past mistakes. Not your fears. Not your broken moments. Not even the battles still happening inside your mind. God's love for you has remained constant through every season of your life. Through the moments where you trusted Him fully. And through the moments where you questioned everything. He stayed. That is the kind of love heaven has for you. So stop believing the lie that you are forgotten. Forgotten people do not receive this many chances to rise again. Forgotten people do not survive storms that should have destroyed them. Forgotten people do not continue feeling hope after so much pain. The fact that your heart still searches for peace, still searches for God, still searches for purpose, is proof that heaven is still guiding your life. And where God guides, He also provides strength for the journey. That strength will carry you through the next season too. Even if the road ahead feels uncertain right now. You do not need to know every detail about tomorrow. You only need enough faith to take the next step. God will handle the rest. He always has. Look back at your life honestly. There were seasons where you truly believed you would not make it through. Seasons where your mind was exhausted. Where your heart felt shattered. Where fear whispered constantly. Yet somehow, you survived. Somehow, you kept moving forward. That was not your strength alone. That was grace holding you together. And the same grace that carried you then will continue carrying you now. So release the pressure to have everything figured out immediately. Release the fear that you are falling behind in life. Release the pain of comparing your journey to everyone else's. Your story is unfolding differently for a reason. God is writing something unique with your life. Something meaningful. Something powerful. And one day, all the confusion you feel now will make sense in ways you cannot yet imagine. One day you will understand why certain people left. Why certain prayers took longer. Why certain doors stayed closed. Why certain seasons felt lonely. Because everything was shaping you for the person you are becoming. And that person is stronger than fear. Stronger than past pain. Stronger than every voice that tried to convince you to give up. So from this moment forward, walk differently. Walk knowing God is still with you. Walk knowing your life still carries purpose. Walk knowing healing is not only possible, it is already happening. Walk knowing your breakthrough is closer than it has ever been before. And when difficult days come again, remember this message. Remember that storms are temporary. Remember that God never abandoned you before. And remember that the same God who carried you through every dark season will also lead you into brighter days ahead. So tonight, rest your heart. Breathe deeply. And trust that heaven is still working behind the scenes for you. Your tears were heard. Your prayers were heard. Your silent battles were seen. And your story is far from over. In fact, your most beautiful chapter may be about to begin.